இப்போ அதில் அசஸ்மெண்ட் எப்படி பண்ணணும் அப்படிங்கிறத வி ஹவ் சீன் இட். ஓகே, இன்னைக்கு கிளாஸ்ல என்ன பார்க்க போறோம் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட் பார்க்க போறோம். ஓகேவா? ஸோ இந்த கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட் எப்போ எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் பண்ணாங்க, யார் எஸ்டாப்ளிஷ் பண்ணாங்க, ஓகேவா? அண்ட் இந்த கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட் வர்றதுக்கான பர்பஸ் என்ன, ஓகேவா? அப்புறம் இந்த கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட் இப்போ நம்ம இன்கம் டேக்ஸ் பார்க்கும்போது சில பேசிக் டெஃபினிஷன்ஸ் பார்த்தோம். எக்ஸாம்பிள், பர்சன்னா யாரு, அசஸ்மெண்ட் இயர்னா என்னது, ப்ரீவியஸ் இயர்னா என்னது, கிராஸ் டோட்டல் இன்கம்னா என்னது ஆஸ் பர் த இன்கம் டேக்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சில குட்டி குட்டி டெஃபினிஷன்ஸ்லாம் பார்த்துருந்தோம். கரெக்டா? ஸோ அதே மாதிரி இப்போ இந்த கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட்லயும் வந்து சில டெஃபினிஷன்ஸ் இருக்கு. எக்ஸாம்பிள் சொல்றதா இருந்தா டியூட்டினா என்ன, என்ட்ரினா என்ன, கூட்ஸ்னா நம்ம என்னெல்லாம் சொல்லுவோம் கஸ்டம்ஸ்ல, ஓகேவா? கஸ்டம்ஸ்ல இம்போர்ட்னா என்னது, ஓகேவா? அப்புறம் கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஏரியானா என்ன மீன் பண்றாங்க, ஓகே? ஸோ இந்த மாதிரி குட்டி குட்டி டெஃபினேஷன்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கு. ஸோ அதெல்லாம் இன்னைக்கு கிளாஸ்ல வந்து பார்ப்போம், ஓகேவா? ஸோ பேசிக்கா இன்னைக்கு லெக்சர்ல வந்து கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட்னா என்ன அண்ட் இந்த பர்டிகுலர் கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட் யூனிட் 3ல நீங்க என்னெல்லாம் படிப்பீங்க, ஓகேவா? தென் what is the power of the customs officer. So these are the things we will be learning it in our today's lecture. Okay, so in today's lecture we just gives you the introduction about what is the customs act. That's it. We will not go in detail about it in our today's lecture. Okay, so in the customs acts what are the things we will be learning? It is basic what is mean by customs act we will be learning, what is the objective of it, what are the definitions, what are the important definition in customs act that we will see, then what is the power and functions of a customs officer, what are the different types of custom duties, what are the classification of goods, and what is the procedure or method for evaluating the customs duties. Okay, how are custom duty tax can be recovered, okay, and what are the procedures for claiming the custom duty. Okay, once you have paid the custom duty, what is the procedure for claiming it back. Okay, so all this we will be learning it in this particular topic. Okay, so these are the content of this particular topic in according to your syllabus. Okay, now let's see what is a custom is. Anyone knows what is a custom act is?
மேம்,
சொல்லுப்பா.
கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட்னா லைக் நம்ம கஸ்டம்ஸ் டியூட்டில பார்க்கறோம்ல மேம்,
ம்,
அதுல யூஸ் பண்ண வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு.
சரி, ஓகேப்பா, தேங்க்யூ. Sending the goods outside or getting the goods inside, if you pay any tax, that is called as customs. Okay, very good. Where தப்பா இருந்தாலும் பரவாயில்ல, ஆனா அட்டெம்ப்ட் பண்ணாம மட்டும் இருக்காதீங்க. சும்மா ஏதாவது சொல்லி கூட விடலாம், அதுக்காக தேவையில்லாத கமெண்ட் வேண்டாம். உங்களுக்கு கஸ்டம்ஸ் டியூட்டினா என்ன உங்களோட தாட்டுக்கு வருதுன்னு மட்டும் சொன்னா போதும். இமீடியட் தாட்டுக்கு என்ன வருதுன்னு சொன்னா போதும். தென் we can explain it further.
மேம், அப்ராடுக்கு ஃப்ளோ ஆற மணியை ஸ்டாப் பண்ணி அப்ராடுக்கு ஃப்ளோ ஆற மணியை வந்து ஸ்டாப் பண்ணி நம்ம கண்ட்ரிக்கு எடுத்துட்டு வராங்க மேம்.
ஓகே, சரி. அப்ராடுக்கு ஃப்ளோ ஆற மணியை ஸ்டாப் பண்றதுக்கு யூஸ் பண்றது வேற. அதுக்கப்புறம்
ma'am, custom duty is basically where like anything which we export or import, we have to pay a amount on that item, like the price of the item. It's mainly for suppose to stop importing goods from outside, like they have a heavy custom
Okay.
duties or heavy custom fees, so they try to stop the import of items from abroad, so that we can make like the make in India, the whole thing. It's for that, for boosting that also. And export, so that
Good.
export duties are
Okay.
low, so that more of export can happen, and that's a balance, right? The exchange balance is there, right? So that can
Balance
be
of payment we will have a good.
yeah, balance of payments will have, yeah, right. So for that,
Yes, correct. Okay, so basically the custom duty is meant for stopping your flow of money outside. That is the basic purpose of putting the custom duty. Okay, that means if you that is to stop your imports, the custom duty was being meant basically for that. And what is the purpose of excise duty? Is excise duty is for the uh, duty which is charged within the country. Okay, any duty for goods which is charged within the country, we call it as a excise duty. Basically, custom duty is for the outside the country. So any goods which is sold off outside the country, for that, if any charges have been levied, okay, so those charges we call it as a customs duty or custom. So under that only the Customs Act will be coming. Okay, so basically custom act எதுக்கு அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்க அப்படின்னா, it is for the any tax which is imposed for the outside the country. So those duty we call it as a customs act. So அது பேசிக்கா எதுக்கு பண்றோம் அப்படின்னா, உங்களோட பேலன்ஸ் ஆஃப் பேமெண்ட்டை வந்து ஸ்ட்ராங் ஆக்கிறதுக்கு அண்ட் உங்களோட கேஷ் இன்ஃப்ளோ தட் இஸ் அவுட்ஃப்ளோ வந்து குறைக்கிறதுக்கு. ஸோ இது பேசிக்கா கேஷ் அவுட்ஃப்ளோ குறைஞ்சா மட்டும்தான் உங்களுக்கு வந்து சர்ப்ளஸ் ஆஃப் surplus இருக்கும் உங்க BOP ல. So for that particular purpose, this particular act was being established. ஓகேவா? So இப்போ இந்த கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட்ல இந்த கஸ்டம்ஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது எந்த வேர்ட்ல இருந்து டெரைவ் ஆயிருக்கு அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, கஸ்டமரி அப்படிங்கிற வேர்ட்ல இருந்து டெரைவ் ஆயிருக்கு. ஓகேவா? ஸோ பேசிக்கா நம்ம இங்கிலீஷ் வேர்ட்ல கஸ்டம் அப்படின்னா என்ன சொல்லுவோம் அப்படின்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா, it is called as habitual practice or it is a hereditary practice. Okay, so that is known as customs. So custom is what we are practicing every day in your life will be termed as a customs. Okay, so when you buy any goods, you will be paying some charges or you will pay some duties. So that is being transferred as a customs. Okay, I'll tell a story for this. How this custom act has been uh, uh, introduced. Okay, you people know that before independence, in our country, uh, the rule was being done by the kings. Okay, so in olden days what happened is, there is a habitual between the kings to exchange the goods. Okay, exchange the goods in the sense exchanging the goods as a gift, they have a habitual. Okay, so that as a tradition or as a day is gone, that particular exchanging of gifts itself is termed as a custom, and it was being given as a rule. They have given some rules and regulations for the exchanging of goods. So that itself termed as a custom duties. ஓகேவா? ஸோ ஓல்டன் டேஸ்ல வந்து எப்படி வந்து ஒரு கிங்குக்குள்ள ஒரு கிஃப்ட் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் பண்றத வந்து ஒரு யூஸ்வலான ப்ராக்டிஸா வச்சிருந்தாங்களோ, ஸோ அந்த ஒரு கிஃப்ட் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்சை வந்து ரெகுலேஷன்ஸ் பண்றதுக்காக வந்ததுதான் திஸ் கஸ்டம் டியூட்டிஸ். ஓகே, this happens before independence. So basically this particular custom duties period will be taken before Vedic period also, we can say. Before Vedic period itself, this customs duty act was being there. Okay, but it is not as a customs act. It's like a name of custom duties act or Indian customs act or Indian tariff act. In that name, this particular custom act was being there before your independence and way back in the Vedic period itself. Okay, so once your British has taken the control, and when they started ruling also, they have taken this customs act uh, for the charges of goods outside the country. Okay, whatever goods which is imposed or whatever goods which is export outside the country, for that they have charged. Okay, so that is termed as a customs act according to your British rule. Okay, and in this particular customs act, they have charged many. This is one of the source of revenue for the British, and they have created some headquarters in Calcutta. Okay, in 1786 they have created a headquarters. After that, they have once the revenue flow was more, they have divided the branches into three. Okay, so they have set up the customs house in Bombay, Bengal, and Madras. So these three places, they have divided their customs duties, and they have started having their own flow of incomes. Okay, then After when they started getting revenues, they feel that they want to give certain rules and regulations, and they have to give some proper rates. Okay, so they formed the Custom Duty Act, and they passed the Custom Duty Act in 1856. Why they have passed the act special is because they are generating more revenue out of the imports and exports. Okay, to channelize that in a proper way, they have passed the act in 1856. And after certain point of time, they feel that there should be some changes in the act, or they want to refine that. So for that, there are a lot of amendments has been made. Okay, in 1867 they got a first amendment, that is called as Indian Customs Act. Okay, and in the same act was amended in 1870. Okay, and again the act was being changed as Indian Tariff Act in 1871, and for that the amendment was happened in 1875, and this Indian Tariff Act has been changed as Sea Customs Act in 1878, and it goes on changing. Okay, till 1894 it was being changed. Okay, and they have given some what to say, add-on tax for your customs duties also. Like ad value taxes was being evaluated. Ad value taxes is where they will put the taxes for the value of the goods. What is the actual value of the goods? For that they have putting the taxes. Okay, so after the World War I, okay, because of the financial requirement, they have increased the tax rate. Okay, so till your World War I, your tax rate which is given by the British was being collected, but after the World War I, because of the crisis, your tariff rates has got increases. Okay, then your Indian Fiscal Commission in 1981, they had made a tax committee. Okay, these tax committee has given some tariff policies. Based on that, they have created a new policies in the year 1931, and they framed the new act as Indian Tariff Act 1934. That is, your C Act was being converted into Indian Tariff Act 1934. Okay, and slowly this particular act was being also known as your Custom Tariff Act. Okay, so that was being called as a Custom Tariff Act in 1934, and this particular Custom Tariff Act focused on the expansion of industries and the trade between the countries. So their more focus is to uh, develop the industries and to increase the exports and imports between the country. That is the main focus of the um, customs tariff tax. Okay, and what is the growth of the customs revenue? If you see the growth of the customs revenue from the olden days, it is before independence, it is only 5%. Okay, it starts only with the 5% of revenue, but now it was being increased to more than 32.5% in a year. It is more than that. We are generating your revenue through your customs act. Okay, so when you see in the year of 92 to 93, your revenue of your customs duty will be only 32.5%. But after because after the changes of your rules and regulations, your custom duties revenue has been increased. Custom duty revenue has been increased to 1.8 trillion in the fiscal year of 2015, and if you see in 2017 it has been increased to 2300 crores of billions. It was being increased, and currently your customs revenue was being increased to 1,38,000 crores revenue was being generated in this particular fiscal year. So it was being tremendously contributing to the growth of the country. Okay. So this is all about the custom duty as such. And basically, what is the purpose of having this is to prohibit or restrict the unnecessary exchange of goods between the borders. That is the main focus of having this custom duty. So basically, we want to control the export. That is, sorry, control the import is the major uh, purpose of having the custom duty. There is no any other reason for having this duty. This duty will make you to thanks, bro. Basic purpose of having this custom duty is to channelize your imports, okay, and channelize the unnecessary flow of goods between the countries. For that, this custom duty was being established. Okay, so next one we will see. Till now, what we have seen is what is a custom duty and what is the historical background of that custom duty we have seen. Okay, I just give you a short summary of these two, and then we will go to the objective or purpose of the customs act. Okay, customs means it's a habitual, okay, and custom duty is for to channelize your uh, flow of goods between the countries or outside the countries. So that is the meaning of custom duty. And history of custom duty is it's before your Vedic period you have the customs duties. Okay, but during the British it was being channelized, and we had several amendments and several act was being named in the customs duties. Okay, and after independence, during the World War I, because of your need of revenue, the tariffs was being changed, and um, the rates has been increased. But after certain point of time to increase your growth of industry and to improve the trade, the Customs Act was being again it was being remodeled and set up properly. And the current revenue of this custom act is one lakh 23 billion crores is the revenue which is generated by your Customs Act. So this is the revenue generation of the Customs Act. Okay. So now we will see the objectives of your Customs Act. So basic purpose of having the Customs Act is we want to protect our domestic players. Okay, why I want to play a domestic? Why we want to play the domestic players is see our country is not industrial country. Okay, our basic source is agriculture only. Okay, but if a country wants to grow, they have to concentrate on the industry. So that's the reason our government is concentrating on the Make in India plan. Okay, so Make in India plan will uh, make your country to grow in industrial way. Okay, so that your domestical player will also be safeguard, and your country will be concentrating on the industries also. Okay, so this will safeguard your importing of goods. Example, uh, see, we people are buying Chinese product. Why? Because they are giving us a cheaper rate. Okay, so the same product which is given by your domestic players will not be shine. The reason is it is at a cheaper cost. So to protect that, this particular act was being established. Okay, so that is the first one. Next one is reduce the imports. Reduce the imports is if we keep on exporting the goods, okay, what happens? We will have a imbalance in your balance of payment. To overcome that, we are having this Customs Act. Next, revenue resources. Revenue resources is if you are importing the goods from outside the countries, okay, for that we will charge some tax. Okay, so from that tax we can collect the revenue for our government. Okay, so that we can use it for your economic development. So it is also considered as a revenue source. Okay, next one is protection of your Indian industry. Protection of the industry is, as we told that we are protecting your domestic players. So domestic players in the sense we are protecting our country people. Okay, that means our country businessmen we are protecting. The same way we are also protecting your Indian industry. That means trade and commerce which is played by our domestic people is also protected. And next one is preventing the smuggling activities. Smuggling means whichever goods is not counted, okay, or which is not built, okay. So that is prevented using your customs act. Okay, so every product which is imported from outside the goods has to be counted and then only it should come. Okay, so to prevent those activities, the Customs Act was being used. Next one is to prevent the dumping of goods. Dumping of goods is you should not welcome all the goods inside the country. Okay, so if you are doing like that, what happens is your domestic players will get affected. Okay, so for that we need to have a customs act so that we can regulate what amount of goods can be exported from or imported outside from the country, or what which are the goods can be imported from other countries, or what classification we can import at the goods, like that we can do it, so that we will not import all the goods from outside the country. So for that particular purpose we need to have the Customs Act. So basically, Customs Act will help to prevent the flow of unnecessary goods or unnecessary uh, flow of money will be reduced using your Customs Act. So basic aim of the Customs Act is to prevent the flow of money outside the country and prevent the uh, flow of unnecessary goods from the outside the country. Okay, so these are the basic purpose of having the Customs Act. Okay, any doubt in this? Okay.
Ma'am.
Okay. So next we will see the definitions of your Customs Act. Okay. So the first definition for the day we will see is what is mean by a duty. Dutiable. Okay, so basically, this particular act is applicable all over the world. Okay, so there is no restriction for this particular act. So this act is applicable all over India. Okay, and in your section 2 basically talks about your definitions and important concept of the customs duties. Okay, so first, now we will see the overall sections in the Customs Act, and then we will see the definitions. Is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
So section 1 and 2 basically talks about your what is the Customs Act is, okay, what is the purpose of Customs Act, and where it is applicable. Extent means where it is applicable, and certain definitions. So basically definitions comes under your section 2. Okay, then your Customs Act section 3 to 6 basically concentrate on the appointment and the powers of the customs officer. Okay, what is the power of a custom officer, how a custom officer can be appointed. Okay, so these are all things covers under your 3 to 6 of your sections. Next, section 7 to 10. Okay, basically talk about the appointment of customs officer in port, airports, warehouse station, and other areas. Other areas in the sense wherever the goods are exported outside the country. Okay, so in that particular places, how a custom officer has to be appointed. Okay, what are the norms you have to follow to appoint a customs officer? So that will be dealt in the section 7 to 10. Okay, next. Section 11 basically talks about what is the power to prohibit the import and export the goods. Okay, so what is the provision for not to export or not to import the goods? So that is covered under section 11. And section 11A to 11G talks about the illegal importing of the goods. Okay, so what are the provisions will be there for illegally sending the goods? So what penalties or what things will be available for illegally sending them? That is smuggling goods. If you have smuggled any goods, what is the provision or what is the penalty will be charged will be seen in the section 11 to 11A to 11G. Okay, and section 11H to 11M talks about illegal export of goods. Suppose if you are exporting any goods which is not supposed to export, if you have export that, then what is the penalty or what is the charges will be available? So that is seen in the section 11H to 11M. Then what are the goods which is exempted in the Customs Act? So that will seen in the section 11N. Okay, then section 12 to 28BA talks about the how to value the goods in the Customs Act, how to get the refund of your customs duties, okay, and how to recover the duties from the customs authority, and what are the rates applicable in the customs duties will be covering under your section 12 to 28BA. Next, 28C to D talks about the price of the goods and incident of duty passed on to the buyer. That means which are the duties will be paid by the buyer, okay, and what is the price of that particular goods which he has to pay will be dealt in the section 20C to 28D. Okay, next 28E to 28M talks about the advanced ruling. Advanced ruling is what is the procedure for an authority to give a complaint, or how to say the advanced ruling will be taken in the section 28E to 28M. And the next one is what is the arrival of the or departure of the goods, or how to deliver the export goods, or how to give the exports reports. So those information, that is import procedures and export procedures. So that will deal with section 29 to 43. Okay, and section 44 to 41 basically charge on the clearance of the goods. Clearance of the goods is how the goods will be sent to the other country. So that will be dealt in section 44 to 51. Then goods in transit. Suppose the goods is in the process of sending the goods. Then what is the procedure for tracking the goods, or what is the procedure for sending the goods? So that will be dealt in section 52 to 56. And section 57 to 73 talks about the warehouse activities. Okay, what is the procedure for having a public warehouse? What is the procedure for having a private warehouse? And what are the things the warehouse people has to concentrate on? Okay, what type of vessels they have to take? So all this will be taken in the warehousing. And next one is what is the duty drawback on re-exporting of goods made or material used in the manufacturing of goods? Suppose if a goods has to be resent back, okay, or the goods has to be re-imported, then what is the duty has to be charged? So that will cover under your section 74 to 76. And next one is if any goods which is from any special economic zones, or which is from any export uh, promotional zones, if it is from that particular area, then what is the duty drawback available? Basically, if any products which is coming under your special economic zones, or which is from your export promotional area, these goods will be exempted from goods. Okay, so what are those areas? Okay, so which are the areas which is listed? So that will be available in your section 76A to 76N. Okay, next, any special provisions regarding to any importing of goods or exporting of postage or stores. So that will dealt in section 77 to 90. The next one is provisions related to any postal goods and vessel carrying coastal goods other than baggages or stores. Okay, so except goods if any other store items was being carried. So what is the provisions which we will be covering under that particular for that particular goods will be dealt in section 91 to 99. Then section 100 to 110 talks about what is the power of searching or seizing any goods, or how what are the provisions for arresting any goods. Okay, what is the provision for seizing the goods? So that will be seen in section 100. Next one is conflict. Suppose if you have seized any goods, okay, Then what are the proceedings you have to follow for seizing the goods? So that will seen in section 11, 111 to 127. Okay. Then once you have seized the goods and once you have given any settlement procedure, then what is the commission will be charged for the settlement of those goods? So that will covered under 127A to 127N. Okay. Then what is the time limit for reappealing or revision of the goods which is seized? So that will take care of in your section 128 to 131C. Next one is what are the offense or what are the offense which is jailable or bailable or non-bailable. So that will seen in section 132 to 140. So what are the offense which you can get a bail or which you cannot get a bail? Okay, so what are those type of offense and what is the penalty will be charged for those offense will be seen in 132 to 140. And next one is what are the convenience you can what are convenience we have in the custom duties? What are the delegations power the custom authorities have? Okay, what are the custom house agencies? How to get a license for a customs agencies? Okay, so those things will be dealt in section 141 to 160. Okay, so you have almost 161 sections in the customs. Okay, so now we will see your section 2 now in our today's lecture. Clear, students? Yes. So totally how many sections we have? 161 sections we have and 17 chapters we have. Clear, students? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay. So first in today's lecture we will see what is a dutiable goods. Okay. Any idea about what is a dutiable goods? Okay. So dutiable goods means a goods which can be chargeable to duty on which duty has not been paid will be called as dutiable goods. Okay, you have to pay the duty for the goods, but you have not paid the value for that particular goods. In that case, we call that goods as dutiable goods. Okay, suppose for example, I am importing some goods to some country. Okay, so for that I have to pay some 10,000 rupees as my duty charge. Okay, but for that particular goods, I have not paid 10,000. Okay, it was in pending. So in that case, whatever goods I am sending now, so those goods will be considered as the dutiable goods. Understood? Yes. So dutiable goods will come under your section 2, subsection 14. Okay, students? Yes. Next one is, the next definition we will see is customs area. Any idea about customs area? Yes. So any place or any area where the exports or imports of goods will be kept for the clearance. Okay. So those area we call it as a customs area. Okay. ஒரு பொருளை வந்து நீங்க வந்து எக்ஸ்போர்ட்டோ இம்போர்ட் பண்றதுக்கு ஒரு இடத்துல வச்சிருப்பீங்களா, வேர் ஹவுஸ் மாதிரி ஒரு இடத்துல வச்சிருப்பீங்களா? ஓகே, சோ அந்த மாதிரி அது வேர் ஹவுஸ் கிடையாது, பட் கஸ்டம்ஸ் லிமிட் குள்ள இருந்துச்சு அப்படின்னா அது வந்து நம்ம கஸ்டம்ஸ் area அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். Okay, it's like a warehouse only, but those warehouse will be taken care by your customs authority. Okay, so when a warehouse which is taken by your customs authority for sending the goods, not for storing. Okay, warehouse நோனே ஸ்டோர் பண்ணுவாங்க அப்படின்னு நினைக்காதீங்க, அதை சென்ட் பண்றதுக்காக இல்லைன்னா ரிசீவ் பண்றதுக்காக கஸ்டம்ஸ் அத்தாரிட்டியே ஒரு பிளேஸ் வச்சிருந்தாங்க அப்படின்னா அதுக்கு பேரு கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஏரியா. ஓகேவா? நெக்ஸ்ட் வந்து கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஸ்டேஷன். next என்ன பார்க்கிறோம் customs station பார்க்கிறோம் section 2 and 13. ஓகே ஸோ பேசிக்கா கஸ்டம் ஸ்டேஷன் அப்படின்னா என்னன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா நீங்க ஒரு போர்ட்டோ இல்லைன்னா நீங்க வந்து ஒரு ஏர்போர்ட்டையோ இல்லைன்னா ஒரு எனி லேண்ட் ஏரியாவை எங்க இருந்து உங்க பொருள் போகுதோ ஸோ அந்த பர்டிகுலர் பிளேஸ வந்து நம்ம கஸ்டம்ஸ் போர்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம் ஓகே ஸோ வேர் யூ வில் பி சென்டிங் யோர் குட்ஸ் டு த அதர் பிளேஸ் we call it as a custom station. So custom station can be your airport, custom station can be your seaport. So those areas we call it as a custom stations. Okay. Next one, the duty na enna paakom. Okay. So duty na enna section 215 cover பண்ணுது. Okay va? So duty na any charges which is levied under your customs act. So that I will call that as duty. இப்போ வந்து fixed deposit தான் இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட்னு சொல்றோம் கரெக்டா அதே மாதிரி உங்க கஸ்டம்ஸ்ல நீங்க ஏதாவது பே பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா அதை நம்ம டியூட்டிஸ்னு சொல்லுவோம் இப்போ இன்கம் டாக்ஸ்ல வந்து நீங்க டாக்ஸ் பே பண்ணீங்க அப்படின்னா நம்ம டாக்ஸ்னு சொல்றோமா அதே மாதிரிதான் இப்போ கஸ்டம் டியூட்டில நான் இப்ப ஏதாவது பே பண்ணேன் அப்படின்னா அதுக்கு பேரு நம்ம டாக்ஸ் சொல்ல மாட்டோம் அதுக்கு பதில் we call it as a duty. Okay, so duty means any customs charges which is levied under your customs act we call it as a custom it is called as a duty. Okay, next one the entry section 2:16. Okay, so entry na enna entry is entry like your bill of lading or shipping bill or bill of exports, okay, including the goods import or export. Sorry, illa goods ella vanduchu like actually entry அப்படினா என்னன்னு பாத்தீங்கன்னா where you will have a document evidence for your sending of your goods. Like example, your bill of entry or your shipping bill. Shipping bill is where this particular goods will be transferred from one place to another place. We have certain invoices. So those invoices we call it as a entry. Okay, ma? Next one, we will be see what is the goods under your customs duty. Okay, so that is described in section 2, subsection 22. Okay, so goods na enna pathina it can be any vessels. Vessels means like any cargoes or any cargoes or any metals which you can send it to other countries. So that is also considered as a goods. Okay, any aircrafts, any machineries. Okay va? So adala na goods nu sollikalam. But what the goods which can be anything which you can transfer to other country. So all this will be called as the goods in the customs act. Okay, so the vessel irukkalam, aircraft irukkalam, machineries irukkalam, illana any vessels irukkalam, ellame vandu na vandu goods nu solluven. அப்புறம் இல்ல ஏதாவது கரன்சிஸ் நான் ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் பண்றேன் அப்படின்னா அதுவும் குட்ஸ் தான். இல்ல நான் ஏதாவது பில்ஸ் ஆஃப் எக்ஸ்சேஞ்ச் ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் பண்றேன் இல்லைன்னா செக் ஏதாவது கொடுக்க போறேன் அப்படின்னாலும் என்னோட கஸ்டம்ஸ் ஆக்ட்ல அது எல்லாமே வந்து குட்ஸ் தான். நான் ஏதாவது ஒரு விஷயம் ஒரு கண்ட்ரியோட இந்தியால இருந்து நான் வேற எங்கேயாவது சென்ட் பண்றேன் அப்படின்னாலே இல்ல ரிசீவ் பண்றேன் அப்படிங்கறதுனாலே எல்லாமே வந்து நான் கஸ்டம்ஸ் டியூட்டி தான் சொல்றேன். ஓகேவா? அது மூவபிளாவும் இருக்கலாம், மூவபிள் குட்ஸா இருக்கலாம். So it can be a movable goods, it can be a vessel, it can be a negotiable instrument. So எதுவானாலும் இருந்துட்டு போலாம். But where it has to be sent to the other country, and for that if you pay any charges, so all this will be covered under the goods in your customs act. Okay, so I'll stop here. Okay, in the next lecture we will see what is mean by Indian customs water, what is mean, who is an importer, what is the imported goods means, okay, what is the export is, then what is mean by baggage we will see, and what is the assessment, and who is the adjudication authority. So all this we will see it in our tomorrow's lecture. Okay.